Mr. President, I stand here today in opposition to the nomination of Lawrence VanDyke to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals in Nevada. And I stand here today because I think we can all agree, no matter where you're from, that federal judges in our states should come from our communities, and they should reflect our communities. It's unfortunate to see this chamber disregard Nevada's voice and move forward with Mr. VanDyke's nomination. The state of Nevada has numerous qualified lawyers and judges who have done good work and who have good reputations in our communities, who are nonpartisan and who would make excellent additions to the Ninth Circuit. But the White House didn't nominate any of these qualified individuals for the Ninth Circuit. Instead, the President nominated Lawrence VanDyke, a man who wasn't born in Nevada, didn't grow up in Nevada, didn't go to school in Nevada, and doesn't live in Nevada now. He hasn't even set foot in Nevada for over a year. This administration has nominated someone to serve on the Nevada seat of the Ninth Circuit who, and let me be clear, is not a Nevadan. Mr. VanDyke is, however, a Washington, D.C. lawyer and failed political candidate from Montana who was nominated to further his and this administration's extreme political views. His nomination is being imposed on the people of Nevada despite our many qualified individuals in our own state, individuals who are respected on both sides of the aisle. As if Mr. VanDyke's lack of any meaningful connection to the state of Nevada wasn't bad enough, Mr. VanDyke is not even qualified to hold this post according to the American Bar Association. In reviewing this nominee and speaking with dozens upon dozens of his former colleagues, the ABA found Mr. VanDyke specifically not qualified to serve in this role. The ABA has made that finding for only 3% of President Trump's judicial nominees, and Mr. VanDyke is the first in the small group whose nomination will move forward without, let me repeat, without the support of either senator representing the state where he will sit on the bench if confirmed. That we would allow someone who is not qualified to hold a lifetime position in such a critically important role is frankly absurd, and it's something that no senator should support, no matter the party of the president that nominated them. The ABA's report found Mr. VanDyke to be lacking in knowledge of day-to-day practice, including procedural rules. The report found Mr. VanDyke to be lacking humility and an open mind. And the ABA's report found Mr. VanDyke to be lacking a commitment to the truth. In order to see how the ABA came to this conclusion, one only needs to look at Mr. VanDyke's record of pursuing an ideological agenda instead of working for the people and defending the law. In his past role as Attorney General of Montana, he filed many politically driven briefs, including one asking the Supreme Court to strike down Roe v. Wade altogether, a view that is out of step with the views of Nevadans. He even signed the state onto one brief without reading it, by his own admission. Mr. VanDyke has also made controversial and appalling statements about LGBTQ Americans, writing this, and I quote, "There's ample reason for concern that same-sex marriage will hurt families and consequentially children and society." Mr. VanDyke was given every opportunity to disavow this statement and repeatedly declined to do so. Allowing Mr. VanDyke to serve on the Ninth Circuit would put at risk the rights of thousands of LGBTQ Americans to employment, health care, housing, basic equal treatment in what is often the court of last resort. Mr. President, surely you must agree, no matter who is president or who controls the Senate, you would want qualified judges with connections to the state who will be fair to your constituents and not use cases to advance their personal ideological agenda. I oppose the nomination of Mr. VanDyke, and if it is withdrawn or voted down, I will be ready at a moment's notice to work with this White House in finding a fair, qualified, nonpartisan nominee from Nevada. The people of my home state and yours deserve nothing less. Thank you.